Hello, and good afternoon, everybody. If you are seeing me live for the third time today, no, you are not going nuts. This is actually meant to be happening. And I'm just checking that I can see that I'm live. Beautiful. So we are going live into several different places right now, as usual. We're going live onto Facebook, into all the different places. We're going live onto LinkedIn and YouTube. So hello to everyone. Guys, if you are wondering why I am coming live for the third time today, this is our second sponsor spotlight interview for our upcoming virtual expo, which is happening on the 5th, 6th and 7th of February. So it's literally only a couple of weeks away. And we have 12 amazing sponsors that we could not put this expo together without them. So part of their sponsorship is that we come and do one of these interviews to help spotlight their amazing businesses and to not only help you show you what they're all about, but also to help you know more about the person and so they can share their passion in what they do. So today we have the beautiful Helen Prince, who I'm going to bring up in a second. Now, Helen, and I love this title, this brand of her business, she is the wealth and wellness lady. That's Helen all over, right? Now, I'm going to ask you a question, guys. Does the thought of money stress you out? If it does, you're not alone. I'm alongside you sometimes in that, or not so much now, but I have been in the past, because financial stress really does, and particularly in the last few years, of course, it weighs heavily on people, absolutely, and it's exhausting, right? It's a drain on your physical health, your mental health, and in general, your peace of mind, right? So Helen's mission is to help you create financial peace of mind in a way that really it's simple, love that, stress-free, even better, and it's effective, right? And it doesn't have to involve getting an extra job or starting a new business if that's not something that you want to do. It's really just practical steps that help work quietly in the background. I'm going to bring Helen up now, and I'm going to let her explain this in a much better way than I possibly could. So let's introduce Helen Prince. Hello, my beautiful. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you?
Good. I am thrilled to talk to you about this because you and I have been discussing what you do in the background over the last, in the last couple of months. So I'm excited to hear what you have to share with everybody else, which is what you do. So tell us a little bit about what you do, Helen, and how you
basically I got a bit of a wake-up call last May, and I realized that if I didn't change something, I would be working forever and we would never retire. And, we were going backwards. And it's like, well, at this point in my life, I shouldn't be going backwards. I should be going forwards. Mm-hmm. So I started looking for different things, and I realized that unfortunately, it's a bit common for women around our age. And that's really not okay, Ali. We spend so much of our lives, we give, and then we get to this point and it's like, we're up the poo. So, yeah. So a lot of doors started opening for me and what I was looking for. So basically what I do is I want to really bring the topic of money to the forefront, because a lot of times it's like, don't talk about money, that's not polite. And I don't mean, sit down and ask people, intimate things about their money. I want to talk about money in general. Just, take our heads out of the sand, because wishing and hoping and trusting that, your super's going to get you there, because it's not. That's not going to cut it. So I want to have that conversation, especially for women. Let's talk about it. Let's have a proper look at it. Don't be scared of it as well. There can be a lot of emotions around money. There can be fear. And then there's also a lot of shame around it as well.
100%,
So
yep.
yeah, so this is about, let's have a proper look at where you're at. And I must say too that I am not a financial advisor in any way, shape or form. All I'm doing is just, I want to educate people to help them to get more financially intelligent as well, and show them what I do. If they like it, they can look into it and they can do that. If they don't, that's okay. But find something that's going to move you forward. That's it. Just take your head out of the sand, have a real good look. Where am I? Where do I want to be? Is what I'm doing going to get me there? If it's not, then start taking steps, because the sooner you start, the sooner you're going to get on that track of where you want to be. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And take away the stress, the fear of the future, and thinking, oh God, where am I going to live? Am I going to be eating cat food? And all of that sort of stuff. How are my days going to look?
Yeah, that is genuine worries. And something you said just then really stuck with me too. You said, and this actually, and I've done this. You guys know me, I'm pretty transparent. Sticking your head in the sand and ignoring the problem, and then thinking it'll all work out, it'll all be fine. And with finances, that's actually not with anything, but with finances in particular, it's not how it works. If you stick your head in the sand, you're not going to magically come out being a millionaire, or even being
financially better off.
Financially better off. And that was something I used to do, even to the point where when COVID was happening, and they gave you that option to access your super. Right, I did that. I accessed my super, and I never had a lot of super to begin with, because I only worked in a career for 10 years, so I didn't have a lot of super. So to access that, my super's all of a sudden gone plummeted, right? And so you saying that, this is real life, guys. So for me, the financial stress is, well, what am I going to do when I retire? Okay, and some people putting their head in the sand might go, oh, you're right, Ali, you're only 52. But hang on a minute. My retirement is only 12, 13 years away. That's not a long time when you think about it. I want it to be sooner. And
that's the thing. And they keep pushing the retirement age out, don't they? They do. Because people can't afford to retire. And I want to retire sooner than later.
Damn straight, girl. Damn straight. Don't we all? Sadly, there's not enough financial education at schools, speaking as a high school teacher, and that's exactly right. And that's why I love what you do, Helen, particularly focusing on people. We'll say it again, people our age, in their 50s, women especially, because a lot of people our age, when we had kids, I had kids at 22, I chose to be a stay-at-home mum. Yep. I didn't earn that super. I haven't got that backup when I retire. So there's all these things that, and they do, while we can be, have that day job or be running a business now, have what we think is financial stability, what happens? What happens if something hits the fan? Yes, it can, right? And as we know, and then what happens if and when you retire? So there's all these things to think about and consider, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yep. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So tell us a little bit about how you do this, a little bit more about what you share with people, if you're open to doing that.
Yeah. So I've started reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I have never read Rich Dad, Poor Dad before, which is, a little bit nuts in itself. So if you haven't, I highly recommend it. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about assets and liabilities. And he says an asset is something that brings money in, all right, without you doing it. Your house is actually not an asset.
Yeah.
If you think about your house, because it's not bringing money in. You are a liability, takes money out of your pocket. Your house, you are paying you're paying a mortgage, you're paying rates, you're paying maintenance. There's always something going on. So it's always coming out. Yeah, when you sell it, if you sell it, then, you will potentially make a profit depending on what you bought it for and how much you've been paying out over the years. So people think that that's an asset, but it's not really. I mean, if you have a positively geared property where you're getting more coming in than that's going out, then that is an asset. So I've really gotten into that. And it was funny because the things that I had found beforehand are assets that I'm trying to build. So 2025 for me is about building up an asset base, and it's getting an income that I can then use to grow more assets. Okay.
Yep.
So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing. It's so that I've got this money to buy more assets. Now, the way that I'm doing it is we are going to get a self-managed super fund as well, because my super, I don't have a lot of super. For exactly the reasons you said as well. There was a big chunk of time where I wasn't working. I was a mum. And then when I did have my own business, I wasn't contributing the way I was supposed to be contributing.
Right.
My husband's super is even worse because he's always been a contractor. So
that's hard.
And our super, the returns that they tell you is, maybe they say, 10%. My super is actually 6.5% return that I'm getting, which is nothing. And based on that, I will never retire.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm doing is getting a self-managed super fund, but not just doing that. It's getting a good mentor who's actually doing what you want to do. And I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm in the early stages of doing it, so I don't have enough information on that. But this is where I'm heading because I've got to do something proactive. But the other things that I'm doing in that whole asset growing is in the crypto space.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm really, really passionate about is helping people to break down the fear that they have around crypto first. Because there's so much opportunity in it, but if you have that fear around it, then you're never even going to look sideways at it. And then you can possibly, whether you get into it or not, you make your decisions, but at least make a decision based on facts, not based on fear and misinformation and misunderstanding.
And I think that's a big thing, isn't it? There's a lot of people, and I was one of these people before talking to you, and other people that I know are in the crypto space. I was one of those people who would hear crypto and shut down. You go, oh, that's crap. I was. However, you and I have had the discussions, and you've explained it to me, and I love the way you explained it in such a simple space. It just makes sense to do it. And it has. For me, it's taken away that fear and gone, why wouldn't I? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that. That's what you do. Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, and especially there are people out there who take advantage of people. Yeah. You're going to lose money in crypto if you aren't educated yourself. And by that, you don't have to know the ins and outs of it and be able to, talk on a stage about it. You have to have enough information to know that what you're getting into. So you've got to do your own research. You've got to do your own due diligence. But the people that lose money are because they're not taking that time to educate themselves. They're not taking that time to just make sure that they find out what they're getting into. And they're getting in with too much, like they're overstretching themselves, because there's this whole, it's not a get rich quick thing. And you don't want to put in more than you're comfortable losing at the end of the day, because you want to be able to sleep at night. But there's ways that you can get into it without having to, put your house up and all of that sort of stuff. So it's about managing risk, because everything is risk. You walk outside your house is a risk. You get in a car, it's a risk. So it's about managing risk. And that's really what I want people to understand, because there's so much potential to make money, but if you don't even try it, you're never gonna get into it.
That's the thing too. And you know, people have, I think over the years, people have started to look at the negative and see it as a big risk, you know. And I love and I respect that, you know, you say that you only put into it what you're comfortable with. So you don't have to go and remortgage your house, right? Because as you said, it's not an asset, it's a liability. That just creates more liability, doesn't it?
It does, and it creates more stress, which is not what you want.
Which is exactly what we're going to take away. So yeah, and I love it. And I'll say it again, you know, you really do. I'm not a numbers person, right? I'm useless with numbers. Or let me rephrase that. I'm not very good with numbers. I could be better. But you've explained it to me in such a simple manner that it really, it's just taken that fear away for me to go, right, boom, I'm ready. You know, so we've chatted, and just Helen and I, we're going to have a chat in the next week or so. I can't wait. We're getting going with it, girl. We're getting going. It's exciting.
Absolutely.
What I also love is that you are quite transparent. And, you know, when we initially had our call, and you've done this in previous expos as well, is you have been transparent and showed people the background, you know, that you are someone who literally practices what you teach and help women with. So tell us a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
Oh, it's really, I hate these people that say, oh, I make $50 billion, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so-and-so made $100 million last week, and you can too. And they don't, I don't know. For me, it's too pie in the sky. It's too, there are people that are successful and make a lot of money, and there are a lot of people that aren't as well, and it's too skewed one way. So I just want to say, this is what I do, and this is what I am experiencing, and show them. It's not just theory. I want to show them it in practice. So I've got the two things in the crypto space. So one is the super nodes, which essentially all it is, it's minting crypto. You set this machine up. It's like if you put money into a term deposit, and at the end of the year you get 5% of PIDL, which is PIDL. But with crypto, you actually use compounding, and it grows it. So that one, you set it up, you put your coins on it, and then you don't have to think about it again. It does its thing, which is what I love as well, because I don't have to be buying anything every month to do anything. I don't have to tell anyone either. I don't have to build a team. I don't have to do any of that. It is working whether I get up or not. It's working whether it's raining or it's sunny. It doesn't matter. It is just doing its thing. And that's what I love. And that's a true asset as well.
Absolutely.
Think of like a mortgage broker. They do the work in the beginning, and they set you up with your loan, and then the bank pays them an upfront commission. Thanks very much for, you know, recommending our product. And then every month, as long as that person has their mortgage, they're getting a trailing commission. So these super nodes do a similar sort of thing. You set it up, and then it's actually every day you get a little
better.
Let's call it a commission. It's not a commission, but just so people understand what I'm saying. So you get something every single day, and then the compounding takes effect, and eventually it's going to. But again, this is not a get rich quick thing. This is something that I've got that locked away for a minimum 3 years, and it's going to do its thing. All right. It's not a cash flow now thing. So what I'm setting up are things that are going to pay off in the future. Because in the future, I want to have something that is generating an income with me not doing anything. And if I start now, it's got time to grow, so that by the time that we're ready to retire, it's at a point where you can actually live off it. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and
that's important.
It is. And so if you want to, you can build a team, you can do all of that sort of stuff, but you don't have to. Which is what I love most about it.
And I think also, you know, the fact that, you know, you are realistic about it. You're saying, you know, and you have said this a couple of times, it's not a get rich quick scheme. And I think that is with those people out there who are saying, you know, you can earn $1 million in the next year or whatever through Bitcoin, through cryptocurrency, whatever it is. That's where the overwhelm comes in for people. And that's where the doubt comes in and the fear, because they go, oh, that's too good to be true. Therefore, it's a scheme. So I'm not going to get into it. Whereas because you are so realistic about it and you say, this is a slow burn, guys, it's not a get rich quick scheme. As long as you're, you put a certain amount into it, whatever you're comfortable with. I love that you say that.
What you're comfortable with.
And it works in the background and, you know, it's compounding. And then it gets to the point where it does go shoo, like that.
Yeah.
But it can be what you choose it to be. That's what I love about what you are doing. There's no pressure to say, I want to be a millionaire, right? Although I'd love to be a millionaire.
we all would love to be a millionaire.
We all. But is that realistic at the moment? You know, and in all honesty, when I went to talk to you, I went with unrealistic expectations because I didn't know what it was all about.
Yeah.
When you explained it to me, I went, okay, what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're teaching me makes so much sense for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for the future. Absolutely. It's not cash flow now. And even the other part that I'm doing with the Bitcoin, is you can kind of have, it depends on how much you want to put into it. You could do stuff for now, but again, it's for the future. And it's really one thing before I get on to what I was going to say. Another thing for people to minimize that risk or manage that risk, as soon as you are able to withdraw what you've put in, do it. Okay.
Yes.
So if you invest $1,000 and as soon as you've made that $1,000 back, take it out, put it somewhere, do something with it, because then you have zero risk. So
That's
the money that you put in, you have gotten back. Everything else it's like free money. It's cream. It's bonus sort of stuff. You're not playing with your own money anymore. So if it does turn to shit, if it goes to pot, then
you can say shit.
You're not losing your money. Do you know what I mean? Because the stuff is not your money it's not the part of that you've put in. So there's lots of ways that you can be smart about what you do.
Exactly. Really. And here, you know, I don't know why this came to mind, but I sit there and I watch, you know, people who constantly put money on the lotto every week, you know, hoping for that big win. You know what I mean? And over the holiday, and this is funny, over the holidays, I went, you know what, I'm just going to give myself a bit of play money, you know. We've gotten into the horse racing, and I thought, right, I'm going to be strict. I'm going to give myself a little bit of play money, to have a bit of fun over the holidays. Well, I put the lotto on a couple of times. I think the first time I won, I spent $18 and I won $8.75.
So you lost $10.
So I lost $10. So the next time I used that $8.75 and I bought another $18 ticket, right? And that time I won $11.25. So wow, score. Did I get ahead? No. With the horse racing, you know, I was like, I'll put $20 into my TAB account every now and then and put it, you know, like $1 each way on a horse with the name I like. Did I win? No. But I was very, very strict with myself into going, because I know that the chances of me making money off of that, it's just not going to happen. And I think my point is that you see people who are going and they're buying lotto tickets and they're hoping for that big win. Whereas, like you say here, you put the money in, once you've earned that money, and you can take the initial investment out. And I love that to me is just security in itself.
Yeah.
It's just that for me makes it an absolute no-brainer to do it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Well, if you took that $18 that you spend, let's just make it $20 because that's easy. If you take that $20 a week and actually just put it over here, you know, at the end of the year, what's 2 5s are 10? You'd have $1,000. Is that right? 52 weeks.
Don't ask me to do math. I'm not good at it.
$20 a week times 52 weeks is a bit over $1,000, I think. Anyway, right. But that's that there. If you then, Google.
$1,040. There you go.
There you go, $1,040. But if you then use that to invest in something that was an actual asset, you could then grow that. And that's what I'm going to talk more about at your expo coming up, is specifically how you can get into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's no longer, that thing. It's serious now. It's been around since 2009. Okay, it's done its dues. It is a serious thing. In 2017, it was worth $900 per coin. Today, I haven't looked at what it is today, but it's around about that $95,000 per coin. US dollars, which is about 160,000 Australian, right? Per coin. So all these people who got into it back when it was, they, even if they bought it for $900, but it used to be like, $10 a coin. All those people who got into it and held on to it, they are laughing their ass off right now. So it's not too late though to get in on Bitcoin. Because you can actually buy a portion of a Bitcoin. So you know how there's 100 cents in a dollar?
Yep.
Right? Yep. There's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. So you can buy a small portion of it. And so what I'm going to be sharing at the expo is how you can get in on that using something that is new technology that allows you to accumulate Bitcoin. Because right now, if you want Bitcoin, you've got to go, here you are, and give me Bitcoin and exchange your money for Bitcoin. And if you want more Bitcoin, you've got to say, here you are, and exchange money for Bitcoin. So I I've been using an analogy in some of the lives that I've been doing about, if you like apples, if you want a long supply of apples, the smartest way to do it is go plant an apple tree in your backyard. So every time you want an apple, you go in the backyard, you grab an apple, instead of going down to Woolies and paying for an apple. Okay. So the smart way is to plant a tree. What I'm going to be sharing with you is, instead of apples, it's Bitcoin. So you have a Bitcoin tree. So you're accumulating Bitcoin, small amounts every day. You're accumulating it without having to keep buying it. So
that makes complete sense to me, because I was one of those people, I think, and I don't know how long ago it was. Probably wasn't as far back as 2009. It was probably about 5 years after that. But I looked into Bitcoin, and it confused the living crap out of me. It really did. But I went and did it myself. And the other thing that you said just then is, how do I put this? The AI or the technology is growing every time, which makes it, which I would think, not knowing anything about it just yet, but I would think it makes it a lot easier for people to get involved now. Would that be correct from what you know of it?
There are AI things that are, there are people who are using AI to trade on the stock market. Right. If you want to do that though, you really got to know what you're doing, because the day-to-day trading is extremely risky if you don't know what you're doing. And this is where a lot of mum and dad investors lose money, because they're going in sort of trusting that it's going to be okay without fully understanding what's involved, and maybe not getting the best advice. So if you want to do that, you absolutely can make money with it. Just make sure that you do your due diligence, that you're going in with somebody. And again, the whole transparency thing, the person that I'm going to partner with for our self-managed super fund, that's what he does. He says, here's my portfolio, copy me, do this. But he also teaches you, this is how I recognize companies, and this is how I work out when to buy and when to sell, because it's more of a buy and hold strategy.
Right. Yeah.
But he is extremely transparent in what he does, but he also teaches you, because you don't want to just blindly follow, and it's all good to do that in the beginning if you want to get something, but he teaches you as well so that you get to understand it, and then that in itself is just giving you more peace of mind as well, that you know what's going on. You're not just doing it because so and so said to do it. You know, you have that deeper understanding.
To understand it.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
It is important. And rather than just going out there and flying by the seat of your pants and, you know, like putting a bet on lotto.
You will lose money. Yeah, if you don't know.
Yeah. Which is literally what I did a few years ago. Well, I thought, and this was the frame of mind that I had. It was like, I need money and I need it yesterday.
Yeah. And that's what most people do. Yeah.
I was one of those typical, you know, I was almost 50 at the time, and it was like, okay, so, you know, I'm single again. I need to look after myself. I need financial backing. I've got a little bit of money to invest, so I'm going to go and do Bitcoin. And I'm going to put, and this is what happened. I put a little bit of money into it, and I think I signed up for something. Thankfully, it wasn't very much. And I went to, and this is what you need to go. You need to go and trade this. You need to do this, and we'll teach you all how to do it. And then all of a sudden it was like, I have no effing idea what's going on. And I lost that little bit of money. Thankfully it was only a little bit.
Yeah.
But because I didn't have that knowledge, I didn't understand it, and I didn't have anyone physical, right? It was all online. I didn't have anyone physical that was going to guide me along the way to teach me. Like you. And so, and you know, I'm thinking if I would go to, you know, if I'm going to go and do something, saying, Ali, maybe that's not such a good idea. How about trying this instead? This is my portfolio. This is what I do. You know, but for me, it was a guessing game back then. So you live and learn from your mistakes, don't you?
You do. And this is the thing. We've all lost money at some point.
Yeah.
Just don't let the fear of losing money again stop you from doing something that's going to actually get you ahead, because you're getting that time for money trading, however you're doing that, it's fine. What happens when you're not able to do that?
Exactly.
What is your plan B? What is going to be still bringing money in when you are, for whatever reason, unable to? So, you know, don't let the fears be all up in your head so you don't try anything ever again. You know, a few years ago, it was quite a while ago, we only had 2 children at the time. Matt and I bought a property, and we thought, right, we're going to renovate this and we're going to sell it. He's a carpenter. He's going to do all the work, and it's, you know, easy peasy. We're going to make a mozza. No, we didn't. And it's not because property and flipping houses is a bad thing to do. It was because we went in half-assed. We didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't have a clear plan. It was like we were trying to be a little bit over here and a little bit over here. And it turned out we made a tiny bit of money, but it was not worth the effort. Do you know what I mean?
There you go, yeah.
It was like, oh my God. But we learned a lot from that. We haven't done anything in property since. However, it doesn't mean we won't in the future, because we would do it so completely differently. So it's all about, okay, it stings and nobody likes to lose money. However, what did you learn from it, and how can you do it differently next time? And just don't shut yourself off is all I want to say.
Yeah, and I agree. Don't shut yourself off. And you know, like we said right at the start, and I know, you know, like I've mentioned, we're going to have a chat in the next couple of weeks. We're going to set it all up for me, and I can't wait to be able to, you know, share in the expo, from my point of view, how my experience with crypto and with you has been. But it's that security, knowing that something is sitting in the background, you know, that, and it does. We mentioned financial stress, we mentioned the physical and the mental stress that takes away from you as well, because, you know, and for me as a business owner, and like you said, as business owners, we don't always manage to put stuff into our super funds, especially when we're at the beginning of our business. But to know there's something in the background working for you, that peace of mind, you know, just goes, oh, thank God, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, when you don't have that, it's always in the background, you know. And then people talk about, like my partner Brett, he's 60 this year, you know, he's starting to think about retirement. And every time he says that, I clench up a little.
Yeah.
Because I go, I'm only 7 or 8 years younger than you, and it's not that much younger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I clench up a little, and I want to have that peace of mind of there's something working in the background for me. So when I'm turning 60, I can then have that thought, I'm going to retire in a few years. If that, instead of me having that mental stress, I'm having mental excitement. We haven't even set it up yet.
And it changes, you know, it changes how you are in your business as well, because it takes away that pressure of, you know, we can sometimes come across a little bit desperate, and, you know, we need this, and it's so important to get customers, and it's so important to do all of this, that, you know, when you don't have that extra pressure on you, you can relax a little bit. You can allow it to just come to you, because you know, it will come if we're not resisting it. But it's taking away that stress, that overriding stress of what's going to happen. And and the sooner you do that, the better, you know, because you don't want to, time is nuts. I mean, we're in 2025. It feels like not that long ago we were all freaking out about Y2K.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And we're already halfway through January. It's
time goes quick, so make the most of it, I suppose. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So Helen, if they're listening to this and they're going, well, I don't want to wait till the expo, how can they get in touch with you now and find out more, and, you know, get all this happening for them?
Yep. You can go onto my Facebook page. I have just a personal profile. I don't have a business page or anything like that. You can jump on my Facebook page. You can stalk me on there, have a look at some of the lives that I've been doing. I did one actually, what's today called? Yesterday. I did one yesterday specifically on Bitcoin. If that's what you're interested in, you can have a look at that. You can send me a DM. You can jump on my website and have a look at all of that stuff. So it's just a matter of reach out and have a conversation. Don't worry, I am not going to stalk you or hound you. Okay?
And I will back that up 1,000%.
Yeah. I want people to ask questions without worrying that, oh my God, now I'm on her radar and she's going to be, you know, messaging me every 5 seconds. I will give you the information you want, and then you take it to your next step when you're ready to take it to your next step, basically. It's I don't want there to be any barriers for you to get educated, basically. Whether you do something with me or not, it is irrelevant. I just want people to get their head out of the sand and start taking action to make sure that their future is going to be something that they're looking forward to it with excitement and not with fear.
Absolutely. And I will back that up 100%. You know, when we had our initial call, I mean, I have gotten to know Helen over the last couple of months, pretty much in the last year. And I went into a call. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew Helen enough to know that she wasn't going to push me. And literally, you left it. You said, okay, there's the details. When you're ready, and if you decide that you're ready to go ahead, this is what you need. Let me know. And now I'm coming to you now, probably, what is it, 2 or 3 months later, going, let's go for it, and you've never pushed me once. Not once, guys. So Helen, you are exactly like that. And you make it so easy for people who aren't good with numbers like me. So I'm going to say, if you want to look at something to give you security, that's in the background working for you, please go and have a chat with Helen, because she'll help you. She will help you understand it, and when you're ready, get you going.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ali.
So if you want to drop a link, whatever links you want to put into the comments after this, my darling, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for speaking with us today. If there is one piece of advice you would leave to everyone watching this, what is it? What would it be?
Start now. Start now. I don't care how old you are, whether you are old or young, it doesn't matter. Everything that we're doing this year, and I've already said to my kids, we're going to show you how to do it. So my kids are 15, 17, 18. Let's go with those numbers. I want them to start now, all right, to have something that is growing for them in the background. Yeah. I want them to have that financial security. I want them to be able to buy their own home and not live with us till they're, 40. I love my kids, but I want them out of the house, But how are they going to do that in today's market?
That's right.
So I'm everything that we are learning and doing this year is stuff that I'm going to be teaching my kids. And I've already set my daughter up with a bit booster for the Bitcoin stuff, which she paid for. My second eldest, he's saving money, so he's going to, because I want to do it for them, but I'm not going to give it to them. I want to teach them how to do it.
Absolutely, that's beautiful.
So my middle son, he's saving some money as well. The youngest one, when he gets a job, he can do that too. So I'm going to show them all how to do all of these things so that they can do whatever they want in their life,
Love it.
My youngest is into VR. If you want to be a VR gamer, go for it, because this is going to be bringing in an income for you, not just the bit boosters, but the other stuff. I'm going to show them how to, set up. Anyway. So yes, start. Don't wait. It's that, what's that quote? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So regardless of age, regardless of your age, start now. The sooner you start, the more you're going to have, basically. But it's not too late either.
No, that's right. And that's where I am at the moment, feeling it's not too late for me. I'm getting going. I'm still young at heart and in mind, body and soul.
We are still young. You're the same age as me. We are young.
Yeah, we are young. We are going for it, girl.
And now I'm thinking of that Pat Benatar song from the 80s.
Yeah. Don't get me singing, because I will. Thank you, my beautiful lady. So, if you want to drop your links in the comments after this, and, please get in touch with Helen. Come along to the Expo, guys. Helen, thank you so much. What I'm going to do is just pop you down the bottom. Don't go away.
Okay.
But
Thanks,
the Expo, can't wait. So, like I said, if you want to learn more about Helen, don't wait until the Expo. Please feel free to get in touch with her. But also, if you want to come alive and come along and watch Helen's lives and learn more about what she does, I'm hoping that Helen's going to show a little bit of her back end like she did last time. She's going to educate us more on what she's been talking about today. It is exciting stuff, guys. Seriously, you need to come and check this out. So why don't you come along to the Heart and Soul Virtual Expo? It is happening on the 5th, 6th and 7th of February. Like I said, it's only in a couple of weeks. And the best part is it is free. It is free for all visitors. We are sold out of stall holders and sponsorships. So the only thing left to do is come along and join in for free. You can check out Helen's virtual stall album. She's busy setting up at the moment. It is under the media tab and albums. You will find them there, and you can check out all of our beautiful stall holders and sponsors there. So, guys, thank you for joining me today. We will be back next week. We have 5 sponsors interviews next week for the Heart and Soul Virtual Expo. We will see you then. In the meantime, feel free to come and join the group. My beautiful VA has just popped the link in there. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Bye.